A rhetorical speech may be delivered by a character in order to persuade or convince other characters or the audience to think or do what they want them to.
Countrymen and lovers, hear me for my cause and be silent!
In this moment of the play, Brutus and Mark Antony take turns trying to convince the people of Rome whether or not it was right to kill Caesar. For Brutus, it was a necessary evil in order to save the Roman Republic, and for Mark Antony, it's that the conspirators were wrong.
As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honour him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any, speak, for him have I offended.
When you're looking at a speech like this for the first time, there are lots of different things to search for to try to unpick and understand how the character might be trying to manipulate the listener. There are certain useful things I like to look for as an actor. Firstly, the argument itself. What is the sense of what you're trying to say to your audience? Secondly, the emotion. So what might the character be feeling inside, and what emotional response do they want to elicit in their audience? And thirdly, rhetorical devices, such as repetition or antithesis, in order to make that argument clearer to those people listening. I think for this, Brutus is trying to convince his crowd, the audience, the Romans, that he came to the decision of killing Caesar very reluctantly. It was a necessary evil in order to save the Roman Republic.
Shall we have a look at where in the speech Brutus refers to himself? So I had to do this, but also maybe why I have the right to speak to you. Let's just do a really kind of plain version where we just count through any time he refers to himself and to see how many times that happens.
Romans, countrymen and lovers, hear me for my cause and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for mine honour and have respect to mine honour that you may believe. Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply.
I got 21.
Wow.
Quite a lot, isn't it?
And I think it seems that Brutus is very deliberately making this speech about him. I think both him and Mark Antony do quite similar things through their speeches, but in slightly different ways. I think Brutus says, you should believe me and trust me because I am a respected Roman. That is why you should believe me. And what's interesting is that he seems to have sort of whitewashed out all the other conspirators.
You don't say we once, do you?
Not once. And then he starts referring to himself in the third person as well as this Brutus becoming an ideal. He makes it all about him. You should believe me. And the difference with him and Mark Antony, I think, is that Brutus says, believe me because I am great and honourable and more intelligent and better than you, and I have your best interests at heart and I know what's best for you. Whereas Mark Antony says it's all about me, but I'm just one of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just one of the people.
You've got an offer to the people, haven't you? If we come back to that, argument, the sort of overarching argument, I had to do this for you.
Yes, for the greater good.
He asks some questions, doesn't he? He asks some questions which are quite interesting.
It's that balance between he absolutely makes it about him, but then, as in a lot of rhetorical speeches, it's about what's the effect that he wants to induce in his audience. What does he want them to feel and them to think? And one of the great devices to be able to do that is to be asking them questions in order to make them feel that they've got an active part to play in their decision making, rather than just being told what to think.
So let's do a version where we look at those questions and you ask, why don't you ask me, Alex, but you don't really want me to give you a response. You know what the answer is and you know you're right.
Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended.
Great, I haven't got a chance, have I?
No chance.
Absolutely
so that's one
not.
way you could absolutely do the speech.
Yeah.
You don't give them a chance.
Let's do that version where you're going to make me feel like I could speak if I wanted. That you're going to convince me that you want me to respond.
Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? Who is here so base that would be a bondman?
It's amazing, isn't it? Because even though you're allowing me in, I'm more convinced by you.
Yeah.
We're looking at the emotion of a speech. There's the character's emotional state, which will be very heavily influenced by what has just happened before and the immediate situation, and the emotional response you want from your audience.
Yeah. Brutus talks more generally about big ideas and ideals that by Caesar dying, each person still has a place in the Commonwealth. And it sounds like a great idea. And then Mark Antony does something similar, but he says in Caesar's will, each person's going to get 75 drachmas in their 75 quid in their back pocket. And so that's the challenge.
Let's pick out some bits where you think you can really zoom in and make it specific. So even though you're talking about those big things, how are you going to convince us that it's about you and it's about this particular actual thing?
Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honour him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There's tears for his love.
Great. So we've got actually, you have said, here is my actual tear.
Yes.
So it couldn't get more specific than that,
and I don't know, this was just like a choice I made earlier on, that you could absolutely say that generally there are tears. But actually I thought for someone that's supposedly, in public anyway, meant to be quite a stoic character, to actually, whether they're real tears or not, which, and I think a night to night as an actor, it depends, but that actually, look, there are real tears. I am shedding tears. This cost me to kill this man.
One technique that Brutus uses quite a lot is antithesis, isn't it? He puts two sort of opposites together. Shakespeare uses antithesis all the time, and that's because it's really effective.
It's really effective, and again, it's very effective for the audience. Makes it easier for the audience to understand what that person's saying, therefore it's easier to convince them to think the way I'm thinking, or to do what I want them to do.
Great. And is there a little section, we zoom in on a little section where we've got sort of a list of things. We've got antithesis, haven't we, there?
And there's that first one, so it's the idea of, not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more.
Great.
Less, more, Caesar and Rome.
Slave, free man.
I really loved Caesar, but I loved Rome a bit more. Slave, free man.
Fantastic.
If there be any different to him, I say, would you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men?
Fantastic. They're really clear opposites, aren't they? That's nice and easy to digest. Shall we look at that list where he repeats that technique? And also, if we have repetition, we don't want to just kind of keep it on a level, do we? We want to sort of build
Yes.
it. It's a really useful way, either with lists or if we're repeating something that we kind of feel like it's really going somewhere. It's getting to a climax of the sort of
and he does
thing.
and he does it often. We think of in rhetorical speeches the rule of three. It's not this, it's not this, it's this.
Yeah.
But actually Brutus he likes giving three things and then gives a fourth one to slam it down.
Should we look at that section and really focus in on that and kind of slam dunking that final moment? So using that repetition, those antitheses, and then bam, hammer it home.
As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honour him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honour for his valour, and death for his ambition. And then he goes on to the next one, these lists of three questions. And I think he maybe does a similar thing here. Should we try that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any, speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any, speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply. So the repetition, the emphasis, and then hopefully it kind of can elicit more and more of an emotional response in your audience if they can feel this.
It gets the heart rate pumping,
yeah,
doesn't it?
The heart
Who
rate.
is here? Who is here? Who is here?
Yeah.
Really, really underlining
like this
those.
wave rising.
Yeah.